Yeah, as you guys can probably imagine, Monday's pretty crazy. Um, Especially as a free agent, first time around. Again, having great people in my corner to be able to narrow the scope a little bit in terms of, who I was looking for. So, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, it was a fairly easy decision for me to be able to come here and just be able to go to work. And that's what I'm most excited for, is to be able to work with Kyle and, Brian Greasy and all the coaches on this staff. And again, all the players, the great personnel that is around this locker room, and from top to bottom, just excited to get started in this organization and get to work.
Sam, kind of following up on what you just touched on there. Some people from the outside would look at this and say you're signing here to be the number 3 quarterback. It's a little bit of a unique situation with the injuries. How much did it kind of play into your mind of, I would like to get a reset here where I can be in a good situation to kind of build myself back up here?
Yeah, I think to be able to find myself in a really a good organization, kind of like what I just said. Yeah, just from top to bottom, right? I mean, being in a really good organization was a priority for me. Being with really good coaches and really good personnel as well. So, those were kind of the top things for me. And yeah, it's I'm very, very happy to be here, but understand that gotta continue to work and work hard.
Hi, Sam. David Lombardi here. You mentioned Brian Greasy in your other answer. He obviously had success with multiple different quarterbacks last year. Is that something that, when you're doing your research for where you want to go, is that something that you take a closer look at? And did you have a chance to ask him some questions before you signed on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more answers, the more information that you can get throughout this free agency process, the better. And so, just to be able to understand kind of his thoughts on quarterback play, and just the way that you saw, Trey, Jimmy, and then at the end of the year, Brock play. They played, with a lot of confidence, and they played fast. And, that's something that I was very interested in, for sure. And being able to talk with Brian about that was very eye-opening.
Speaking of Brock and Trey Lance, have you had an opportunity to talk with them, and just how familiar are you with them and their games?
Yeah, I have not been able to talk with them since I signed. Very familiar with their games. I feel like, all three of us are pretty similar. We have the ability to get out and make plays when we need to, that way. And we can also throw from the pocket. So I see a lot of similarities in all three of our games, and, just excited to work with them and meet them as soon as possible.
Hi, Sam. How comfortable are you with what Kyle Shanahan asks of his quarterbacks? Are you familiar with his offensive system? Was that something that was attractive to you looking at free agency?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to be able to, understand, kind of have an understanding of what it takes to play quarterback in this system. I understand it's very, there's a lot of different checks, a lot of different shifts, motions, formations, all those things. And, I'm very excited about that opportunity to do that. And, just help this team however I can.
Hey, Sam, I'm assuming that you know Christian McCaffrey and Steve Wilkes pretty well. Wondering whether you consulted with them, talked with them during that decision-making process.
Yeah, didn't talk to Steve very much. Had conversations with Christian, not too much free agency talk, more just, conversations about life. But yeah, I think, for me, I think the, kind of what I said in the beginning, I was, no matter who I talked to, taking emotions out of it. I was really just focused on those things that I mentioned before. looking into free agency and looking at, how I can just continue to grow as a player. And those things that I have mentioned earlier really stood out.
Yeah, Sam, how much the last 6 or 7 games of the season when you won 4 times and played pretty well, how important was that for you in building up momentum for what was going to come next?
Yeah, I think for me, it was just playing within myself. I think that was the biggest thing, those last 6 games. Obviously, a couple games didn't go our way, but it was just playing patient. I think that was the biggest difference for me is, not forcing things when they weren't there. Just giving our team, because when you turn the ball over and when you force the ball in there, it's, you can't play late in the game or have a chance late in the game if you're turning the ball over. So I think that was the biggest thing with me. Those last few games of the season was just staying within myself, staying patient. And I feel like, that was some momentum to be able to build on for, this next year coming up. But at the same time, there's a lot of work ahead of me. And I understand that I got to get going here pretty fast and get going on the playbook and continue to work.
Hey, Sam, you mentioned that you talked to Christian a little bit before you signed with the Niners. Are you looking forward to reuniting with him and Steve Wilks, all now as 49ers?
Absolutely. Yeah. Christian's a great dude. We became good friends in Charlotte, or in Carolina, I should say. And obviously created a really good bond with Coach Wilks as well, throughout the last half of the season, the last season in Carolina. So, just excited to be able to work with Christian again, and obviously with Coach Wilks. So yeah, I don't know if I can say I'm excited enough during this press conference, but yeah, excited to get to work.
Hey, Sam, what is your understanding of what you're stepping into as far as your potential role and, having a real potential or ability to compete, at the very least for the backup role?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really coming in here and doing everything that I can to understand the offense. I know I have my work cut out for me when it comes to that. So I think that's just my focus right now is doing whatever I can to help this team win games when it comes time to do that. Whether that's me being the backup or starting. And that's my mindset.
On that kind of same note, Sam, have you had a conversation yet with Kyle Shanahan, and what kind of did he lay out as a plan for you along those lines?
Yeah, I think kind of like you had mentioned, there are some unknowns, right? With Brock's injury and then Trey coming back. So I think those are things, that, with a good room, with a good quarterback room, you can, as long as we stick together and we understand that, we just got to work hard and continue to put the best foot forward for each other, that everything's going to work out. And I think at the end of the day, as long as we're winning games, that's the only thing that matters to me. As I continue to get to know Trey and Brock, and talking to people around the building about those guys, it seems to me that all they care about is winning as well. And, obviously as a competitor, you want to play, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for the team. And, and you leave those decisions up to Kyle, and we know that he's going to put the best guy out there and, and do the right thing that, we just need to go out there and win.
All right,
We haven't had a chance to meet Steve Wilks yet. You still there, Sam?
Yep. You got me.
Okay. Yep. We haven't had a chance to meet Steve Wilks yet. Heard only good things about him, especially what you guys were able to do in the second half of the season there. But how would you describe him, and how would you, what would you say the 49ers defense is getting in Steve Wilks?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the smartest defensive coaches I've been around so far, since I've been in the NFL, and just his ability to coach. The way that he coaches, the way that he gets the back end right, and ties kind of everything in together, right? I think that's something that is rare to find in a defensive coordinator, and Coach Wilks has that. It's very, just the way that he talks. I mean, you guys will meet him soon enough, but just the way that he talks about football, and the way that he operates, he's going to shoot you straight as a player, and as a player that likes to get better. And I'm sure a lot of the guys in the locker room are the same way, guys that want to continue to get better throughout their career. Everyone can appreciate someone who's going to be brutally honest with you. But in the same breath, he's going to do everything that he can to get to know you. And when you're in the hallways and you see him, he's a great dude, and he's going to ask about your family, and he's a great family man himself. But yeah, he's a really good coach. From what, defensive guys said in Carolina, and from what I understood as well. And just excited to be with him again.
Hey, Sam, you mentioned, wanting to be the backup or starting or competing for that. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been told if you prove to be, you're the best quarterback on the roster, then you'll be the best quarterback. Have the best role, and you'll be starting. Is that accurate?
No, I think for me, it's just coming in and doing everything that I can to learn the playbook, and, cause it is early, just got to do my best to learn the playbook, digest everything, and, have conversations with, Brian, Coach Greasy about, formations, motions. I mean, there's so many different things that go into it. The last thing that I'm worried about right now is, play time and whatnot.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, guys.